Hey, Tony Gaskins here. It's one of the things that I've been hearing about, from men is just how, as men, we need affirmation too. We need to hear from, our wives like, hey, you handsome. Hey, you smart. Hey, you a genius. Hey, you such a hard worker. You are so gifted. You are so talented. And I think what happens is in our society, because of how our society has raised men to suck it up, be tough, don't big boys don't cry. From like one and a half, people telling baby boys, stop crying, big boys don't cry. Definitely by 3 years old, 5 years old, big boys don't cry. So men reserve, we hide our emotions, our feelings when we need a good cry. I was on a plane coming out here to work with the sports team, and I was watching a movie. I think it was Charm City Kings or something like that it was called, and they was in Baltimore, and they ride the bikes and stuff. And the rapper Meek Mill was in there, and it was 3, 4 times in the movie that I just bust out crying, like not like but just tears just went to flowing, and it's because I don't cry. It's because I don't have a reason to cry in my life, like out of sadness or what have you. So I don't cry. But then, I guess joyful moments I could cry, but I don't really process success or wins too long or too deep because I'm on a journey and I know I got to keep going. I can't spend too much time, celebrating or at the rest stop. So I'm on the plane and it's not that deep. And here I am crying. I mean, just all kind of water in my mask, snot coming out my nose. I'm in there trying to sniff up. And I was like, man, it's human to cry. But so many men, have been deprived of that. And it's a running joke in my family. If we watching a movie and some touching happens, everybody look at me because they know it's gonna be tears streaming. But I don't cry about nothing else, so it's like it's crying of like I could feel the emotion. Like my heart feels other people pain. My heart feels joy for others, joy, pain, agony. It's like I could feel it. Some people call it like an empath or what have you, and maybe that's why I'm a life coach and why get on the phone and talk to people for an hour at a time, just trying to listen and hear and feel and help. But I say that to say that that is every man. Every man feels. And so to the ladies who you married and your marriage is going good, it may not be perfect, nothing is perfect, but it's going good. And you got a good man, and his heart is in the right place, and he trying, he doing everything he can to be the best man he could be. I just want to remind you and to encourage you to affirm him and to speak into his life, and all of the love and attention and affection and adulation that you want from him, give it to him as well. And really sing his praises sometimes. The same way that as a woman, you're human and you want to hear, ooh, you look good. Girl, come here, girl. Ooh. You want to hear that. And that's how I talk to my wife. As men, we want to hear that too. And I know a lot of time my wife said, baby, you look handsome today. Ooh, I like them pants you got on. And she make a conscious effort to do that. That's not in her personality. And for so long, and even still sometimes today, I just let it go in one ear and out the other. In one ear and out the other. And I realize it's the conditioning. As men, we don't know how to accept compliments and say thank you. We always got to throw it back to the person instead of just saying thank you. And I remember Zig Ziglar saying, when you don't know how to say thank you for something nice somebody says to you, he said that's a low self-image. He said, you got to be where you can say, thank you. I appreciate that. And so I started reminding myself of that. And so that's something to the men too who see this is be okay accepting your compliments. Like be okay accepting that affection, that love. And I'm talking to married women because sometimes you get out of control and you go to doing too much with a boyfriend, it ain't gonna turn out how you want it to turn out. It's a difference between a boyfriend and a husband. A husband has now a boyfriend, yes, he needs some affirmation and yes, he needs some support. A boyfriend need it too, but I'm not talking on the same level because I know as women, you created for love, you know how to love. So when you turn that faucet on, it just could be overflowing and it's hard to turn it off. But you still got to, I ain't talking about the same level. So like for a wife, you literally could tell your husband, you handsome every day. You know, every week you could say, I'm just so impressed with your mind. I'm so impressed with your work ethic. Like every week, don't feel like a lot of times in marriage, we think that we're doing too much. We think that, you know, if we say this and we say that, that we're putting our partner on a pedestal and that we blowing their head up. And so we omit those things from our conversation, and that's actually a mistake because you should blow your partner head up. Your man should have a big head and he should know how much you love him, how much you're into him. Because guess what? When the devil come trying him, trying to tempt him with this other woman, for him to do that, he got to really think about how much you love him, how much you support him, how much you encourage him, and then he finna go do that to you. So now guess what? If he go do that to you, guess what? He deserved everything bad that's coming his way. Everything of the wrath of God that God gonna send to him, he deserved it. Because you have shown him that you love him, that you care for him, that you support him, you praising him, you uplifting him, you encouraging him. So if he taking spit in your face, and a lot of men go out and cheat and they use that as an excuse. Well, I didn't feel like I was attracted to her, so I just wanted somebody to make me feel attractive. I didn't feel like she supported my dreams. And this woman on my job, she supported my dreams. And men will ride that wave of you ain't do this, you ain't do that, so that's why I cheated. When there's really no excuse for a man or a woman to cheat. If you want to cheat, you ought to leave. But we all, not we all, but most of us make that mistake of, not the mistake, that bad choice, that stupid choice of doing something to cheating on our partner or spouse instead of addressing our insecurity, our pain, and handling it the right way and leaving if it means we should leave. But see, the thing is as a woman, when you affirm your husband, and I'm always talking about how you know a man is in love with you, and I have videos on the man-to-man playlist on how to love a woman and things of that. But a lot of times we forget to talk about that men need love too. In a sense of, I'm not talking about this struggle of the relationship to where the man is no good and the woman putting up with him. I'm talking about the good men, the men who dedicated and faithful and doing everything he can to please his woman. A lot of times we get taken for granted because it's like, because we show up and because we're consistent, good men could be overlooked and underappreciated because we don't require a lot of maintenance. We don't require a lot of work because we're going to come home every night. You know, we're going to do what's expected of us. So sometimes it gets taken for granted like, oh, it's normal, when in reality it's not normal. Because if you look left, look right, you'll see this woman, that woman, this woman, that woman, this woman going through all kind of stuff. And a lot of times the good men get taken advantage of and get taken for granted and then end up losing their zeal for being a good man. And so this just, this is something that in my marriage early on, I had to address and remind my wife, like, listen, everything I'm giving you, make sure, I know you tough. I know you was raised as an athlete and you was raised now about like a boy, but I need this right here as well. I need to hear that you impressed with me, that you impressed with my mind, that you love me, that you think I'm attractive. Like, I need to hear that the same way you need to hear it. And once I expressed that to her, and and I created a safe space to where she realized her affirming me is not gonna blow my head up to where I want to go out and see how many women I could get because she done made me feel so good. But instead, it puts me in a place and a mindset of like, man, my woman really loves and appreciates me on the same level that I love and appreciate her. So I don't want to let her down. I want to continue to love her. I want to treat her even better. And let me I'm about to say something, but ain't even gonna touch on comments. Sometimes I be touching on comments, but ain't even gonna go there. Throw my whole track off, cause see, the devil be working, and he'll be working through people, and out there in the comments, and out there people got stuff to say, but you know what? Block, block. And so I ain't even gonna let the devil have no victory. But listen to me. When I share my story and me and my wife's story, what I want you to understand is it ain't about me bragging on our relationship or anything like that. It's about that I'm a living testament of what I'm teaching. And so don't get it twisted and think that I'm just conceited and want to talk about myself, but it's my story and it's the story that I know. And sometimes even good people, people with common sense, people with sense get that twisted. And what you got to evaluate is when you get tired of hearing about Cherie Gaskins, that's only because of a jealous heart. That's only because of an insecurity. It's only because Cherie Gaskins may have a marriage that's happy and healthy. And if you don't have a marriage that's happy and healthy, on certain days that could bother you and that could get under your skin, and you got to remember where you listening from and where you operating from. And that if somebody is in a stage of life that you going toward, that you could be happy about that and learn from that instead of despising that or being envious of that. And that's what I see a lot of times in our world with people, and in the comments when people be telling their story, is people misconstrue it and take it the wrong way and take it as, bragging, instead of understanding that's a person being transparent and teaching from what they know based on what they have experienced instead of just what they thought or what somebody else told them. So understand that right there. And you would like to think and hope that stuff like that don't have to even be addressed and mentioned, but unfortunately it does. So listen to me. To this video, to the ladies who married, you got a husband and he doing the right thing, don't forget to celebrate him and to affirm him and to speak life into him. Don't force it. It ain't got to be fake. But when you think that thing like, he look good today, or man, he's smart, man, he tough, man, he ambitious, man, he's so handy around this house. When you think that, and you may go brag about it to your girlfriend, to your mama, you might write about it in your journal. Don't forget to tell him. Don't go tell everybody else how amazing he is. Tell him how amazing he is. It is Tony Gasson. God bless you. We'll talk soon.